Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Alex, the Comic Hoarder. Thank you so much for clicking play on this video. In this video, we're going to show 5 comic book covers that I'm going to talk about that are ultra modern covers. And these ones are really great. They're ones to consider picking up for your collection, especially if you can find them cheap. But make mental notes of these books for when you're hunting in the back issue bins. And if you find them for cheap, definitely pick them up. We'll be talking about values. We'll be talking about grades and census and everything like that. So hopefully you guys are excited. Here we go. This video is sponsored by the Shortbox app. It's the easiest and safest way to buy comic books online. They now have raw comic books. Definitely download the app by clicking the link in the description below. It definitely helps out this channel and lets them know that I sent you over there. Also, I've been hunting for a lot of great comic books on there. Check out the app and see if you can guess which book I'm after. There are a select handful of modern covers, especially variants or regular covers, that I really like for my personal collection. I consider myself a pretty specific key hunter as well as a golden age collector. And I want my collection to have like a really great foundational base to it with really great keys so that any dealer or any other collector would automatically universally recognize any of the books in my collection. Now, I do have a handful of variants that I like. I've got about a short box full and then a drawer full of variants and really great covers that I like. So I'm going to highlight some of those covers. And if you like these, maybe put them on your radar, maybe put them on your hunting list, but definitely don't go out and spend like buku bucks on these. These are kind of run of the mill. Like every week there's another cool cover. So I'm not saying go out and buy all of these, but just put them on your list. And if you happen to come across one while you're in a half price books or you're in another discount comic book place or even in your back issues in your comic book shop, these are ones you may consider picking up. The first one on the list is A-Force #1, and this is from 2015, and this is the Inhumans 50th anniversary variant cover. It's a really great Medusa cover by Adam Hughes. It's the first appearance of Singularity. Well, there are 300 total graded on the CGC census. 189 are 9.8s, 22 are 9.6s, and this, of course, as you see, is a 9.6. I really love Adam Hughes' artwork. This has been a comic book that I've always wanted in my collection. Now, values on this: FMV for a 9.8 is $230. The 1-year average is $224. 90-day average is $219. A 9.6 is not far behind. On March 19th, 2013, a 9.6 sold for $220. So 9.6s and 9.8s aren't very far behind. Most of the time, they do command a lot more value if they're 9.8s. But as you can see, the condition is very similar. It's just the opinion of the grader. One of my favorite artists in the modern age is Adi Granoff. I love Adi Granoff's work, whether he's doing male characters or female characters. And this is Uncanny Avengers #1 with Scarlet Witch on the cover. Adi Granoff just does a great job. As you can see, the highlights on the character are really great. Very realistic look to it. This is the Uncanny Avengers #1 from November 2012. And as you can see, this one is a 9.8. It is an Adi Granoff variant cover. There are 235 total on the census. 56 of those are Universal Blue Label. So not a ton of Blue Label 9.8s. 9.6s, there's 2 more. There's 58 9.6s. But yeah, if there's under 100, even under 60 9.8s, this is a pretty rare book. And like I said, only 235 graded on the CGC census. 9.8s FMV is $300. The last one that sold that actually has a sold price, I mean, there's some in October, December, and then February, but the last one that actually sold that I can see the price that wasn't a best offer was in May of 2022 for $315. The one before that was in March of 2022 for $400. This is a cool book. It's definitely a $300 book. For a 9.6, I would expect to pay anywhere from $175 to $225. There's a pretty big drop off from the 9.8 to the 9.6, but just make sure that you're not overpaying. As a matter of fact, in April of 2022, one sold for $150 in 9.6. So really, really cool. Addie Granoff cover, great Scarlet Witch, and this one is a 9.8 white pages. Hey, I just want to really quick ask you guys if you could, I'm going to set a like goal for this video of 300 likes. So if you're watching this right now, if you could just take a few seconds to hit that like button, it really does help out. Also comment down below what your favorite ultra modern variants are, and maybe we'll see if I have any of those and they'll be featured in a future video. Thanks. If you go back to the early videos on my channel about 7 or 8 years ago, you will see this has been a book that I've hunted for a long time. This is from May of 2006. This is Justice #5, the second print. This used to be so hard to find, and it's one of those ones where it was like, once people started showing it on YouTube back in the day when the community was very, very small, then everyone started hunting for it. And it was just hard to find. And people kind of didn't know about this. But this is an Alex Ross second print variant. A lot more people know about it now, and a lot more of these books have been found. But back in the day, these were very hard to find and very expensive. They've gone down because of the fact that it's a DC book, as well as the fact that it's much more known now and easily found, you know, on the secondary market. This is a 9.6 white pages. Like I said, May of 2006, Alex Ross second print variant. Really, really cool Shazam cover. Now, if you're a variant collector or you really love Shazam and you want to pick this one up, the good news is you can probably pick one up in a 9.8 for around $100. There are only 40 9.8s on the census. It does have a dark back cover, so it can show a little bit more of that wear along the back cover, which may be a little bit more tough to get that 9.8. If you want a 9.6, you can probably find one for under $50 graded, and there are only 15 on the census at 9.6. Only less than 100 total graded. So if you're looking at rare variants, this may be one of them, or maybe not worth grading. I don't know. I personally like it graded. I personally think this is a book that's worth grading, but there are some books that are on the census that have low census numbers that just aren't worth grading. So people wouldn't spend the money to grade them to get $30 for a 9.6. I love this cover. I love the way that it presents in the slab. And so for me, having this in the slab, whether or not it's worth $30 or $50 or whatever, I like it. I love it. This is a second print Alex Ross variant for Justice #5 from 2006. This next book up is one I just shared on Instagram and kind of inspired this video, as well as hopefully a series of videos on ultra modern covers. This is Black Widow #1 from May of 2010. This is absolutely spectacular. Really great Scarlett Johansson photo variant. This is really, really awesome. Several years ago, I was in a group that we did live videos on YouTube called the 9.2 Crew. I still have the videos. They're just on private because there's a lot of expletives, a lot of adult language, and even sometimes adult conversations that I don't necessarily want on my channel, but they're still there. In case anyone wants to see them, I can send you a link. If you are an adult and you want to look at those videos, they're really great crew. We talked about comic books, we talked about things, but they're still on my channel, just set to private. We talked about photo variants. Freddy's 562 was a big photo variant collector, and this is one that he always talked about, and this is one that I would always search for, and finally found it at Backseat Cards and Collectibles. This is a 9.6. I don't see any flaws on it. There's no flaws on this book. This is a 9.8 all day long, in my mind, but it got a 9.6 white pages. This is a little bit more of a pricey book and a little bit more on the census. There are 139 copies on the census. Only 56 of those are universal 9.8s, and there are 39 9.6s. So still, once again, a somewhat of a rare book. This one is hard to find. Just a really, really great book. In a 9.8, you're going to look at paying over $500. As a matter of fact, it's probably closer to $600 for a 9.8. Now in 9.6, a recent sale in September of 2022 for $300. This one in 9.8, closer to $600, half the price for a 9.6. But regardless, it presents so well. This is just an awesome book to have. Really love it. And one of those really great ultra modern variants that I love having in my collection. And the last book up is one that usually ends up in my top 20 or top 10 books in my collection. I absolutely love this book. It's my favorite cover by this artist, and I think it's a lot of people's favorite cover by this specific artist, and I think you'll agree. This is Supergirl and the Legion of Superheroes number 23, and this is from November of 2006. It's an absolutely fantastic Adam Hughes cover, and Supergirl's kind of all the rage these days. She was one of the standout characters in the new Flash movie. Sasha Calle did a really phenomenal job portraying Supergirl, and so it can only do good things for this comic book, as this is just a great Supergirl cover and one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Supergirl variant of all time. Like I said, this is from November of 2006. There are 500, so this has the most on the census, 524 total copies on the CGC census. Now, this is definitely a book that anyone who has it most likely will grade it to get the most value out of it. There is one 9.9 signature series, but there's 0 9.9 universal. There are 205 9.8 universals, as well as 98 9.6s and 36 9.4s. Now let's talk about values. If this was a 9.8, the FMV is over $1,000. So probably $1,300. For a 9.6, about $675. And then for a 9.4, the 1 year average is $550. So it doesn't drop too terribly far off from the 9.6 value, but in a 9.4 still presents amazingly well. As a matter of fact, this would be one that I would crack out. You know, not me personally, but if someone owned this specific copy, they would probably consider cracking it out and trying to get it pressed and cleaned for a higher grade. I think this one is definitely a contender for a 9.6, if not even a 9.8. I don't see any major flaws on the front cover or back cover. Just another great and fantastic ultra modern variant cover that I love having in my PC. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscription button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. Hit that bell to be notified when there's future videos. I really hope to do more of these highlights of ultra modern variants or variant covers or just really great covers of the modern age. Hopefully you guys are really excited for that. Stay tuned and we'll talk to you all on the next one. See ya. Bye.